Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. What a frustrating day it was in the system yesterday. The Dodgers missed a golden opportunity to pick up a game on both San Francisco and Arizona. Couldn't do it. AAA Oklahoma City lost. AA Tulsa lost. Thank goodness for the A-ball teams, High A Great Lakes. They won, and Single A Rancho Cucamonga won their game as well. But other than that, frustrating day in the system. So a lot of action to get to. But before we do, just a reminder, if you like Dodgers Daily and you'd like to help, we do have a GoFundMe account, and the link to that is in the description. Also, hey, keep leaving comments, keep liking this video, keep sharing this video, and make sure that your notifications are turned on, and tell everybody you know about Dodgers Daily. Okay, good offense last night. You scored 8 runs. You are the Dodgers. You've had one of the best pitching staffs in Major League Baseball for many, many years. So when you score 8 runs, even at Coors Field, should win the game, certainly in the position the Dodgers are in right now. So frustrating night. And like we said, Oklahoma City and Tulsa lost as well. So, hey, lots to get to. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So the Dodgers are 44-35, and both Arizona lost last night, San Francisco lost last night, and the Dodgers were playing Colorado, a team they should win, even in a bullpen game. I'm very frustrated today. Of course, last night was a very difficult game for me to watch as a guy who is so close and so attached to all these prospects. Miguel Vargas 0 for 3, Jamesoutman 0 for 5, Nick Robertson gives up 2 runs, and Michaelgrove gives up 4 runs in his 5 innings. But, you know, hey, more so than anything, Michaelgrove had gotten some momentum, had a good outing in relief, a position and a role that looked like was going to be more comfortable for him. I get it, you're in a bullpen game, and the club, you know, they kind of evaluated it as who is the guy that can give us some length? The one guy we have available right now that can go more than 1 or 2 innings, that guy was Michaelgrove, so I understand why they started him from that perspective. But hey, if it's a bullpen game, it's a bullpen game. Let's throw, hey, in this situation, the next 7 games, okay, we talk about the big picture all the time. This front office is in big picture mode a lot. Dave Roberts manages to the big picture a lot, which I don't mind. But the next 7 games, I've said it many different times, by the time the calendar turns to June, you need to be within a game or so of Arizona, because this part of the schedule favors you, and by the time you hit the All-Star break, you need to be back in first place. And you have a really golden opportunity to do that. So this, I believe it's 7 games with Colorado and then Kansas City and then Pittsburgh. You need to be in win-now mode. Get rid of the big picture. I know I've said several different times you need to evaluate all these relievers before the trade deadline so you can kind of figure out your game plan as far as who's part of your future equations and who's not, and what you need to do in the trade market. I know I've said that several different times. Not in the next 7 games. Next 7 games, you need to make up ground. You need to get yourself back up right there at first place, somewhere around first place within a game, maybe tied, maybe even in first place. So the next 7 games, in my opinion, need to be managed. They need to be administered from the front office like it is a playoff setting. And what I mean by that is whoever the best guy is that we have available at that moment, throw them out there. I know last night that, you know, you're coming off of an off day, so, you know, a guy like Evan Phillips, he should be available. So throw him out there. Let's go win. Let's not play the big picture and lose a game because you didn't put the best guy that you had available out there to pitch. You know, so the pieces were there to win the game last night, a huge game, but you went big picture instead of win now, and you lost the game because of it, and you lost a golden opportunity. So super, super frustrated from that perspective. Because, again, I'll say it before I move on, this next 7 games needs to be win now. It needs to be treated like a playoff scenario, and you need to win all of them, and you need to get yourself back into first place. So the positives, okay, I know it's Coors Field, a lot of runs scored there, but when you score 8 runs, you have 9 hits, and you're 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and you have a 6 spot in 1 inning, you should win that game. I don't care if it's a bullpen game. I don't care who's pitching. The Dodgers should have enough depth. They should be good enough on the mound to piece it together to win a game in which they score 8 runs. So that is very, very, very frustrating. Okay, so Hey, Mike Montgomery pitched last night. So did Daniel Hudson. So did Jimmy Nelson. Let's get Daniel Hudson up to the major league level, kind of like you did Tony Gonsolin. Hey, Tony Gonsolin was going to rehab a couple more times. Let's use that time at the major league level. It's only one inning at a time. Daniel Hudson looked very good. Again, I have lots of live video of him. If you want to go to my social media platforms or just go to the last podcast, and you can see a lot of live video from him from behind home plate. He's about 95 right now. Slider looks good. Jimmy Nelson's anywhere from 91 to 93, but it's not the velo that's getting outs for him. It's the knuckle curve and the slider that look good. And then Gus Varland. Okay, Gus Varland is 98. He's not getting a whole lot of horizontal drop to his pitches, which means his fastball is riding the top of the zone very, very well. And then he's also getting horizontal movement to his arm side. So he's getting, that cut back into a right-hander, and he's getting a lot of ride at the top of the zone. So Gus Varland, I think he's a guy that you need to look at as well in your system. Then you have guys like Adam Kolarek and Mark Washington and guys like that. So there are pieces, okay? But I think the first thing you need to do is you need to get Daniel Hudson back up to the major leagues. You need to start putting him in situations that, like last night, that are high leverage to help you win games, because I think he's ready for that. And then, hey, like I've always said, if you want to tap into your pool of AAA pitchers that have major league experience, I've always thought Matt Andriese was at the front of that line. I think probably Mike Montgomery, who pitched last night for AAA Oklahoma City, went 3 and 2/3 innings, scoreless. Okay, I think he probably jumped to the front of that line, but again, I don't think he's much more than maybe depth at the back of a rotation, or maybe even a guy that can come in and throw a couple of innings in relief. Okay, because at the major league level, first of all, he hasn't thrown a major league inning since 2020. His ERA at the major league level, 3.84, WHIP 135, average against of 256, and a strikeout to walk ratio of just about 2-1. So this isn't the guy that's going to solve all your problems, Mike Montgomery, if you tapped into him, in my opinion. Now, we've seen the Dodgers have resurrections with guys like that, and all of a sudden, they become unbelievably great pitchers. So, who am I to say it won't happen, but it doesn't favor that to happen. So, okay, my opinion, and I don't know, I'm not good at, I don't have enough time really to research other teams. I've put Austin Brubaker on the JOB of this, of which we were going to have our first Dodgers Dog show last night. It was going to be live. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be every Wednesday night. My dog ended up having knee surgery, so I am not available for more than small chunks like this. I do this about 10 minutes at a time, and then I'm needed as far as trying to nurse our sweet little pup. So wasn't able to do the Dodgers Dog show last night, but put Austin Brubaker on the JOB as far as all of the trade pieces that are available out there. We will talk about them next Wednesday on our Dodgers Dog show. He will have all of that information for you. Okay, I am of the opinion the Dodgers need to go all in for a frontline starter, a guy that can jump to the front of your rotation. Getting Julio Urias back now, theoretically, if everything went perfect, you'd have Julio Urias, you'd have Clayton Kershaw, you'd have Tony Gonsolin, then you'd have Bobby Miller and Emmett Sheehan. That's 2 rookies at the back of that. That's Clayton Kershaw, who just pulled himself off the mound. That's Julio Urias, who is just coming off of the IL, and that's Tony Gonsolin, who's been on the IL quite a bit, and he struggled in his last couple of outings as well. So there's a whole lot of uncertainty to the starting rotation. So I don't think you backfill that by bringing up a guy like Montgomery and putting him at the back of the rotation, although that seems to be the most intuitive move, to maybe replace one of the rookies to take some pressure off them. I think the way you take the pressure off the rookies is you go get a guy that jumps to the start of the line, which means that, hey, by the time you've thrown a top-line starter that you go get in a trade, you've thrown Julio Urias, you've thrown Clayton Kershaw and Tony Gonsolin. By the time you get to that rookie, okay, whatever they give you is more of a gravy scenario versus, hey, having to rely on them to come through for you to be, that anchor type guy. So I think the Dodgers need to go all in with their prospect capital to go get a number 1 type starter. I don't know who it'd be. I haven't done research on it. Again, Austin Brubaker will have all that. If you know some of the situations, I'm sure a lot of you guys, you know, the wonderful baseball people here at Dodgers Daily will know a lot more about this than I do. Please leave a comment. Tell me what you think as far as some of the guys you think that might be available that the Dodgers, you know, might have a chance to go after. So leave a comment with that. So, hey, those are my thoughts on the LA Dodgers. Time now to transition to the minor leagues in the Dodger system. So let's not waste any more time and let's take a trip down on the farm. The AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers, they only strung 5 hits together and 3 runs. But, hey, Devinmann, you're looking at right here, he has been absolutely super hot. We'll get to him here in a minute. Cole Calhoun had a hit last night. Devinmann actually hit a home run that you're seeing here. This was home run number 12 on the season. Cole Calhoun, he was the DH last night. He had a hit. Devinmann, this was his one hit, a home run. Right here, home run number 12. Hunter Fiducia, we'll talk about him. He had a couple of base knocks as well. Let me replay this right here for Devinmann. So Hunter Fiducia had a couple of hits. And then Justin Yurchek, who we talked about on our last podcast, he had a hit as well. Hey, Devinmann, home run number 12 on the year, and he also leads the PCL in doubles with 26. He's very versatile. He can play all over the field. I've talked about him several different times. He should be on the 40-man roster, and he should be getting a look at the major league level. That's how well he's playing. Hunter Fiducia is in that same boat. We'll talk about him here in a minute. Because Devinmann, he has turned into a big-time prospect. He is just having just absolutely fabulous year. His average is over 300. Again, he leads the PCL in doubles. He has 12 home runs. He's versatile. He fits the culture in the clubhouse. So, hey, why not? This young man, Devinmann, he is challenging for a spot on the 40-man. I know the logistics are challenging, but hey, I'll tell you this. If you want to do it, if you want to reward a kid who's absolutely deserved a shot, if you want to do that bad enough, there's always ways to make things happen, and I think Devinmann has definitely earned that. So Jimmy Nelson, I talked about him. Hey, him and Daniel Hudson being possible bullpen pieces you could add to the LA team, and it being, hey, maybe even better than anything you could go get in a trade market. Another successful outing. Look at the emotions last night from Nelson. He was super, super pumped at Sugar Land. Another successful outing. That's about a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. That one there is about 91, 92, but the one up in the zone is about 93. That one right there. So another successful outing for Nelson. He threw a scoreless inning, and hey, Nelson has yet to allow a run in any of his 8 outings this year, and he has 10 strikeouts and just 3 walks in 7.2 innings. I know it's a small window. I get all that. But, hey, it's the window that he's been given, and for the window he's been given, he has done nothing but be just absolutely spot on and spotless, I should say, in the action that he has had this year. Again, 92, 93 on the 4-seam. The knuckle curve and the slider, I talked about this last time. That knuckle curve is a pitch that if he can land in the strike zone will get a lot of outs, because you're talking about guys in high leverage situations that have a lot of adrenaline, and when you throw a pitch that flutters up there, it's hard for them to control their adrenaline enough to be able to hit a pitch that flutters like that. So Jimmy Nelson, I'm sure the club is giving him a great look and great consideration for bringing him up as fast as they can. Well, we've talked about Devinmann. How about my man, Hunter Fiducia? Man, what a year he's had. He had 2 hits last night for AAA Oklahoma City. He's moved his average up to 292, and for a catcher who grinds like he does, I say it all the time, man. He gets better as the season goes on. He is one tough hombre. He is so durable because, like I said, he just doesn't wear down. And guys like that, hey, they're just as good, if not better, in September than they were in June at the catcher spot, are very, very, very difficult to find. And right now, Hunter Fiducia is catching his groove. 292 OPS 888, having a great year, and he's hitting .326 this month of June, OPS 918. So, hey, you're going to say it just like Devinmann. This is a guy, Hunter Fiducia, that has absolutely done everything he can in his power to get put on the 40-man. He's done everything he can in his power to get a shot at the major league level. I understand there's a lot of talent in the system. I understand logistics are difficult, but hey, at some point when a young man has blown through the doors like Hunter Fiducia has to this point in this season, you just got to figure out a way to give them a shot and give them a look and see what they can do and see if they can help the big club. I think we're to that point with both Devinmann and Hunter Fiducia, so we'll see what the club does with them. So hopefully both of them get their shot sooner rather than later. So here's a look at Daniel Hudson again from behind home plate. His statistics on the year, he's thrown 8.1 innings, so similar to Jimmy Nelson. Not a big window to look at in terms of evaluating, and it would be a situation like I talked about earlier. You would be probably forcing him a little bit faster than the club wants, but I've stated I think the club needs to be in win-now mode until the All-Star break, and then you can reevaluate from there, get some rest, and see what you want to do. Maybe you can go big picture a little bit more after that if you get yourself maybe back into first place. Okay, 8.1 innings, not a lot, but the success has been off the charts. 0 earned runs. He has not given up an earned run yet in his performances at Oklahoma City in his 8.1 innings. His whip is just 0.60 on the season, and then on the season as well as far as his strikeout to walk ratio. Well, first of all, his average against is just 154, and he has 13 strikeouts and just 1 walk. So 13 strikeouts and 8.1 innings. That's awesome to begin with. And then when you pair that with the fact that he has only walked 1 guy, that is elite. Daniel Hudson's ready. The first thing the Dodgers need to do is they need to call him up, and they need to make him a part of their bullpen and start putting him in high leverage situations and get him worked back in. The AA Tulsa Drillers lost 6-4 last night to move to 41-29 on the season, and I've said a couple of times, I think of all the moves the Dodgers have made, moving guys up and down. I believe they had 120 transactions, something like that, last month or this month or, in the last 30 days, something like that. I think the team that's affected the most has been the Tulsa Drillers. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They lost again last night 6-4 offensively. They had 7 hits and 4 runs. You're seeing Imanolvargas right here hitting home run number 12 or number 10 on the season for him. Austin Gauthier went 1 for 3 on the evening. Jose Ramos, he had a hit as well. Eddysleonard had his 17th double of the season. He had a couple of hits as well. And then Kodyhoese had a couple of hits too for the AA Drillers. So good to see Kodyhoese hitting the ball again for the AA Drillers. Imanolvargas, this is home run number 10 for him, deep in the West Texas sky there at Hodgetown. They call there, right in downtown Amarillo, they call that Hodgetown, and it is beautiful. I've been there a couple of times, and it is a great place to play baseball. And trust me, the ball flies there. It is a place to where you get a lot of carry on your balls, and so it's a good place to play baseball. Matter of fact, Devinmann, a couple of years ago in West Texas at Amarillo, he had 3 games in a row where he had multi-home run games, and it was a pretty awesome display of offense. Imanolvargas has an OPS of 380 on this, or he has an average of 380 on the season, or this month, and he has an OPS of 830, so he's been playing very good offensive baseball for a while now. Imanolvargas, a very good offensive player. Good to see Kodyhoese getting back into the action right there. That's a good swing. Hey, we've seen him have some games as of late where he's had multi-hits, but they've kind of been, maybe a dinker to right, or he hit one off the end of the bat. And I've kind of talked about with the narrative, hey, he's had so much tough luck in his career. He's due to have some luck go his way. But, hey, how about this right there? Bam, that is a good hit. Centers that ball up. You can see he's using his core, his oblique, all those areas that he's had to fix in the past. And he's using all of that, and he's very well connected. I want to back this up and show you, hey, as he swings right here, watch how well connected as far as his hands and his hips and his core. Look how well connected that body is right there. That is just a great swing. This is why Kodyhoese right there was such a high draft pick. Look how well connected. I mean, you talk about, that torque where the front half of your body pushes back, the back half of your body pushes forward. It's like that rubber band. And if you can get both of them right there to, if the back half can push forward, the same strength level as the front half, you meet right there in the middle, and that's like that rubber band as far as creating that torque, and that's what creates all your power. That is a perfect case scenario. Look at the back half right here with his back knee, how that is pushing forward and creating a lot of forward momentum, and then look at his front knee, how he is pushing back against that forward momentum, and you land right here in the middle, and that creates a lot of power. That tells you right there, if you're able to dive into all of that strength in your body and be connected like that, That tells you a guy is fully healthy. That tells you he's very aggressive, and that tells you he's very confident to go ahead and swing at a pitch like that, as aggressive as that and as connected as that. So good to see Kodyhoese swinging the bat like that. Eddysleonard had a good night last night. Good for him. He had a couple of hits, and like I said a couple of times, slow start for him offensively. Very smooth defensive player, and he keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The lower half of his body is like tree trunks. This was his 17th. Look at the lower half right here. That is a good lower half, especially for a shortstop. Very strong young man, very smooth defensively. The offensive tool, I'm going to back this up and kind of show you why. Of course, obviously the numbers don't look great this year, but I really like his swing. Let me back this up one more time and see if I can't get that stopped right there. Look how flat that is. Okay, I love that attack angle. Look how balanced his body is right here. He's definitely centered. He's not leaning back. He's not leaning forward. And of course, that's a high pitch, so you want to keep your barrel flat. The higher the pitch, the flatter your barrel is. But that is a really, really, really good attack angle. You see right here his power L that he's making with his ankle joint and his knee joint right here. It's pointed directly at the baseball and directly at the point of contact. So everything is connected perfectly. There is no reason why this swing right here with the talent that Eddysleonard has shouldn't become, make him become a good offensive player in the future. It's very, it's just very sound. It's not complicated. It's right there. That is just a really, really, really good swing. So, hey, I like the potential of Eddysleonard offensively. I get the fact that his numbers don't look just tremendous as far as this year goes. Got out to a slow start, but we'll see, how he can finish this year and see if he can get really hot and get those numbers up to where he wants them to be. The High A Great Lakes Loons shut out the Lansing Lugnuts, and it was started by Ronan Kopp, who you saw right here, as you're seeing right here. Hey, he only went 3.2 innings, but he had a career high, or season high, I should say, in strikeouts at 7, just walked 2, gave up just 2 hits and no runs. Ronan Kopp, his ERA is down to 1.91 on the season. Jermingrosario, he had a very, very good outing. He actually got the win. Rosario did because Kopp did not go long enough. He didn't go the 5 innings to record the win. 2 1/3 innings for Jermingrosario of strikeout or of scoreless baseball. 3 strikeouts for him. Mitchell Taransky got his 5th hold of the season in 1 inning of work. He had a strikeout. Franklindelapaz looked really good. He got his 3rd hold of the season in 1 inning. Juanmorillo came in throwing 99-mile-an-hour fastballs again last night. Had 1 strikeout and no runs in 2/3 of an inning. And then Benoni Robles came in and threw the last out and got his 6th save of the season. But hey, it was all about the start of Ronan Kopp. Again, a season high strikeouts at 7 and 3 2/3 innings. They're very careful with these young arms. He threw 59 pitches, 39 were strikes, and Kopp, like I said, lowered his ERA to just 1.91. And how about this? He's given up just 1 earned run in his last 10.2 innings and just 2 runs in his last 18. He throws what he calls velo donuts, and hey, he really thinks at some day, of course we saw it right there, that gun, that's actually a 94-mile-an-hour pitch, although the gun registered 90. So don't pay any attention to the Great Lakes Loons gun. It is wildly inaccurate at times. Okay, he thinks someday maybe he can hit 100. We'll see. That would be a pretty nice little velo donut to throw to home plate if he could do that, but his velo is good enough right now. It's gangly. He's deceptive. He has good extension. So very high, great future for left-handed pitcher Ronan Kopp. Great job last night, Ronan. Of all the great prospects in the Dodgers system, Dalton Rushing is the only one that's going to play in the Futures game, and it's because of that right there, his hit tool. This was home run number 8, and it was majestic looking. Absolute bomb. Rushing is hitting .313 in June, OPS .958, and he has an extra base hit in 3 of his last 5 games. So Dalton Rushing, the young man who took the baseball world by storm, one of that Louisville connection. Hey, when I talked to Devinmann, I asked him about all the Louisville guys and how cool that is, and he talked about Dan McDonnell and the great job he does there for the Cardinals. You have Zach Birdie. I'm going to say him first so I don't forget him. Then you have Devinmann. Then you have Bobby Miller. Then you have Dalton Rushing. So there is a big-time Louisville connection, and it's a good one because Louisville is a great baseball program. Dalton Rushing is one of the most recent, and boy, the hit tool for him is absolutely legit. Talking about, trade pieces and, hey, trading prospect capital for a number one starter, not this guy. This guy, and on my list, is absolutely untouchable. In no scenario whatsoever does Dalton Rushing get traded. He would not be part of the prospect capital that I talk about to get rid of. As far as going and getting a starter, I think you have enough capital, other than him, to make a trade. And I've mentioned in podcasts in the past the guys that I would probably look the closest as to, as far as the prospect capital you have to go get that number one starter. Dalton Rushing would not be part of that list. Mitchell Trubisky, the young man out of Michigan State that has fought injury after injury after injury, finally back after, not pitching since 2019. And boy, what a season he's having. Great outing for him last night. He went 1 inning scoreless. ERA is down to 2.61. Hey, the velo is not just absolutely incredible, but being left-handed and being able to throw strikes and being able to have multiple pitches and just being just that guy that just goes right at hitters like we see Mitchell Trubisky do. That's a good little riding fastball that you just saw on the screen. Again, don't pay attention to that radar gun. Look at that sweeping slider right there, or curveball, whatever he labels it. I have not talked to Mitchell before, so I've never seen StatCast data on him. So I don't know if he calls that 82 to 86 a curveball, a slider, a sweeper. I don't know exactly what he calls it, but whatever you want to call it, that's a good little sweeping pitch for him to pair with a fastball. Right there, that's probably, 92, 93, 94 in that range for his fastball. So again, I say this all the time. I can't believe I'm saying this. He's not a guy that's going to, blow your doors off as far as velo goes. That 89 is probably 92, 93. And like I said, I can't believe I'm saying that because 92, 93 is a lot of velo. But again, guys nowadays come out of the pen throwing 98, 99, 100 miles an hour. We're going to see one here just in a minute in Juanmorillo for the Great Lakes Loons. So, hey, good outing for Mitchell Trubisky. This is Jermingrosario, and every time I talk about him, I talk about, hey, he's either going to, get everybody out and throw up a zero and just be dominant, or, hey, he's going to make it about 1 out. And, hey, last night was on the high side. Definitely on the high side. I mentioned he actually got the win last night, and he had a great outing, and he was a big part of the combined shutout for Great Lakes, going 2 1/3 innings. He had 3 strikeouts, and he got the win to move to 3-2 on the season. And Rosario has gone scoreless in 2 out of his 3 outings. The stuff is there. His stuff is very good. That's Caden Trinkle, by the way, Oklahoma State boy. And actually, the Loons faced Brady Basso, a left-handed pitcher, last night that was an OSU boy too. So you had Brady Basso pitching, you had Caden Trinkle hitting, and then you had Max Hewitt, who's on the Great Lakes Loons as well. So that was a lot of fun for me to watch. I actually posted about Trinkle and Basso on my personal Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook accounts as well. But hey, back to Jermingrosario. He's been on the high side 2 out of his last 3. He's 3-2 on the year. This guy has the talent. When he's on and he's in the strike zone, he gets a lot of outs, so we'll keep an eye on him. Check out the radar gun here. I talk about the radar gun all the time, Great Lakes. 99. Okay, not exactly sure what the TrackMan listed that as, but 99 is pretty dang hot. That's Juanmorillo. That was his first pitch that I put in this video, and hey, there's some still left in the tank. This guy can go hotter than 99. He can go 100, 101. So in your system, man, you got Jordan Leisure as a reliever that's hitting 99. You got Jake Pilarski, who's already hit over 100. You got Juanmorillo hitting around 100 miles an hour. You have power arm after power arm in your bullpen, one after the other. Okay, so Juanmorillo last night, 3rd hole of the season, 6 scoreless outing, and he's gone scoreless in 11 out of his last 12. So the young man who is finally back this year, kind of like Trubisky, fought injury this year, back with a fresh arm and healthy, and he is showing just how lightning bolt of a right arm he has. Franklindelapaz did his job last night. Man, he came in and pitched very well. He preserved his shutout as well. He went 1 scoreless, recorded his 3rd hold of 23. And De La Paz, a left-hander right here, kind of that side-slotting left-hander. Reminds me of Jeff Belge, kind of that type of profile, and the way just his delivery a little bit, and just the way that he gets down the mound. Reminds me a lot of Belge that the Dodgers, if you remember, they traded him away last year. I love Jeff Belge. Still keep in contact with him some, still keep in touch with how he's doing. So De La Paz, good outing last night for him. He's gone scoreless in 4 outings in a row. Well, it wouldn't be a Loons highlight video in June of 2023 if you did not include damonkeith. Boy, how impressive has he been this month. As a matter of fact, he's hitting .361 here in June, and that he had 7 multi-hit games. Hey, that was a 109-mile-an-hour base hit. He had 115-mile-an-hour base hit, and he's using the big part of the field and hitting the ball to the opposite field. I talk about a lot of times. I think sometimes he gets pull happy, and when he does that, he lifts, and there's a lot of swing and miss in his swing when that happens. So when he stays up the middle, tries to hit the ball up the middle, and if he's a little bit late, it goes to right field. A little bit early, it goes to left field. I think that keeps, he has that negative bat angle. Let me show you what I mean. But he is definitely a north-south hitter. If I can rewind this right here and out right there. Okay, that is definitely a north-south hitter. And you see right here the negative bat angle. See how this front lead arm right here and that bat angle is exactly the same. That's called leverage right there. That is a good north-south approach. And to do that, you got to look at his ball. Look how he's leaned behind a little bit. You got to get behind that ball. Okay, so that is definitely a very good north-south setup. So why do I say he needs to stay up the middle? Because when he gets pull happy, instead of these hands, I want to show you the hands. Well, I actually didn't get enough of this video. See how flat the hands traveled right here? You can definitely tell that the hands traveled flat to get to that baseball. When he's pull happy, instead of these hands being flat, they're actually pulling and lifting up this way, and that leads to a lot of fly balls to right field, and or you turn the barrel over and roll over to the shortstop. So this right here, when he thinks up the middle, that gets him perfectly centered with the baseball for his north and south approach, and that keeps him, it keeps his hand, the path of his hand very flat, and it keeps him on the baseball longer. That's why Chris Taylor is almost a carbon copy of this exact setup of damonkeith. That's why I always say with Chris Taylor, he has to think up the middle because it keeps him, in a position to be able to not lift and to stay on baseballs like damonkeith is doing right now. Hey, check out this play from Tayloryoung. I always talk about his baseball key. Flip it to Freeland. Freeland goes to first base to Dalton rushing for the out. That was fun, man. I'm going to rewind that and let you look at that one more time. Tayloryoung, the young man out of La Tech, flip it to Freeland. Freeland back to rushing, and we have an out. Rushing is absolutely pumped. And then, hey, how about that? Not only that, Tayloryoung also had 2 hits on the night. What a show he put on last night for the home fans there in Midland, Michigan, for the Great Lakes Loons. Okay, and I've said many times, hey, this is a young man. Don't bet against him. He's the all-time hits leader in La Tech history. He is just absolutely endeared and loved by the Bulldog Nation there in Ruston, Louisiana. And last night was his 3rd multi-hit game in his last 4. And like I always say about Tayloryoung, he's just getting started. The Rancho Cucamonga Quakes defeated the Visalia Rawhide last night 5-1. Rancho scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 3 in the 7th, and that was all they needed because the pitching was just fantastic. Jared Karros got the start last night for Rancho. He went 5 innings. What a great performance for him. He just came off the instructional list, and that's, I think that was just to give him a little bit of rest. His ERA on the season, 2.57, no earned runs last night in 5 innings. What an outing for him. He's now 2-2 on the season. Jonathan Edwards, he went 1 2/3 innings and gave up 1 earned run. David Tiburcio pitched as well last night, 1 1/3 innings, scoreless. And then Yoel Ibarra finished last night scoreless in his 1 inning. And he actually struck out the side in his performance. So a great pitching performance last night for Rancho offensively. The Cucamonga Quakes, they banged out 9 hits and 5 runs. Not a tremendous amount of offense, but hey, a 3 spot in the 7th was enough to win last night 5-1. Offensively on the night individually, Josue de Paula, he had a hit 1 for 4. A great interview from Tim Rogers over on Dodgers 2080 for Josue. That was very well done by Tim. So, hey, go check that out over at Dodgers 2080. If you want to hear from Josue, that was very, very, very intriguing. Kyle Nevin went 1 for 4 last night. He's hitting .324 on the season. DePaula, by the way, off to a bit of a slow start, .224 OPS 720, but I'm sure he'll pick it up. Jesus Galice, the young sweet swinging catcher. I talk about him all the time. He had 3 hits last night, 3 RBIs. He has his average up to .259. He got off to a very slow start, and he has just been steadily climbing that average. It's up to .259. OPS just .689, so still trying to build to the power department for the young catcher out of Venezuela, Jesus Galice. And then Raindon Cone had a couple of base knocks as well. He's off to a slow start in 2023, average of just .233 OPS 699, but hey, world of talent, nothing to worry about with Rain Don Cone. He is very, very, very talented. Dayton Dooney, 1 for 4 on the evening as well. And then Kenneth Betancourt, who's seeming like he's been at Rancho Cucamonga for 11 years in a row, he went 1 for 3 for the Quakes as well. So again, a 5-1 victory for Rancho Cucamonga. They moved to 43-27 on the season. So there you have it. There's our show for you today. I told you it was going to be cram-packed, and it was, like I said, a frustrating night at the 3 top levels. LA, they blew a golden opportunity to pick up a game again on Arizona and Colorado. Oklahoma City didn't win, although there was some good action to it. And then Tulsa didn't win. They're struggling a little bit right now with all the transactions in the system. Great Lakes, great performance by Ronan Kopp. Jared Karros gave Rancho a great performance, and the relief pitching, and basically at all the levels, was very good last night. So that's a good thing. So that's our show for you today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I also hope you tune in tomorrow as well. Just a reminder, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily, we have a GoFundMe account, and the link to that is in the description. And also, if you like this video, make sure and leave a comment and interact with this video and tell all your friends about it. Share it. Leave a like, click that like button, and make sure your notifications are turned on. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers.